10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, all. It is the 7th day of November 2017. This is Brian live from San Antonio, Texas. I hope you all are well out there. It's been kind of a sad few days here in San Antonio and southeast of San Antonio. For those of you that weren't around the other night, we did a special broadcast for Sutherland, Texas, a small town southeast of San Antonio. A Baptist church down there. A lot of their congregation was shot and killed. Targets were not just adults, but there were children too. If you missed it or you didn't see your local news, the latest report and updates will be coming up on the second part of this podcast tonight. I know you people have asked not to be bothered and not to have cameras shoved in your face. So we're not going to do that tonight, but if you're listening, or you want to listen, or you want to talk, or you just need a friend, that's me. You can call in at 210-850-3764 during this podcast and anytime afterwards. Again, if you're up there and listening and you've lost loved ones, or you were there during that time or heard that what happened, I want to say thank you to two innocent bystanders, the two people that did get involved, that helped law enforcement bring this jerko down. I want to thank you for getting involved. Not many people do that, but thank you for getting involved. I do appreciate that. And I'm sure the other people do too. If you're out there and you're listening, I don't know who you are, but you've been hailed a hero. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't lose any sleep over shooting that guy. He was a loser anyway for doing it, especially when you have to shoot kids. That's the sad part. What in the world does a 17-month-old baby have to do with anything? Why shoot a child? I don't understand that. I could never shoot a child. Not in a million years. And my heart and my prayer goes out to each and every family that lost their loved ones, especially during the silly season, the start of the holidays. I'd like to say you guys are going to have a happy Thanksgiving, but, you know, time does heal. It may not take it away, but it will heal. But know that there are people out there that do care, that will listen. And we do have, there is help being set up. The Red Cross is there. If you guys do need help, there are just good Samaritans out there that are there for you, willing to do anything you need, cook, whatever it is. If you need a friend, you can call me, you know that. If you want to tune into this podcast, you can go to www.speaker.com. User number is 996-3968. You can tune in live. If you don't want to do it there, if you're on social media, you can do it at Facebook at Brian Hammond 96 at Facebook.com. You can catch me on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and you can also catch me on can't think of the name of the other place. Anyway, but I'm all over the place. You can also catch us on demand at any time, or you can just download it and listen to it later. This may be hard for some people to hear, like young kids or children. Just know that there are students and people from our hill country area, from their schools. Tragically, we've lost lives down here too, to those schools. Parents, be aware that there are grief counselors standing by and ready to talk to your kids if they do need to talk about this. It can be a very hard subject and a very hard thing for a child to comprehend and deal with, unfortunately. But, not to change the subject, but this has not been a good year for killings. people being killed. We've had too many mass shootings and too many killings. And for what? It's not solved anything. It's just ongoing bloodshed. You know that? Ongoing bloodshed. Innocent people have to die because some jerko wants to dress up like Rambo and go shoot up a church. What for? They want to call this, he had mental problems. I got mental problems, but you don't see me shooting up people or churches or stores or anything else. I know a lot of people who got mental problems. This is an issue for gun makers. This is an issue, this should have been dealt with a long time ago when the shootings started in schools a few years ago. But it hasn't been dealt with. They swept it underneath the rug and pretended like it doesn't exist. There's not a problem. There is a problem when you've got elementary school kids going to school with guns in their backpacks or knives in their pockets. Let's teach them right now. That's only our other generation coming up that's going to take over. That's going to take our spot if there's anything left. Southern Texas had a population of 700. 700 people. 700. And 26 of those people are now dead. One family lost 3 generations of their family in one day in that Baptist church. There was more than 450 shell casings left inside that church. Just from that one shooting. That was inside the church. Not counting the people he shot outside. Why he did that, I don't know. He did it because his ex-mother-in-law went to that church. But she wasn't there that day. But I guess that was his revenge and shooting up to her congregation for her, I suppose. Of course, it didn't end well for him either. But I'm here to encourage you, don't lose any sleep over his death, because I don't. And neither will anybody else. It saves the taxpayers' money. But I know you guys probably don't know how to deal with this. And you're probably very depressed and sad. And probably don't even know how to cope at this point. It's hard. I know I've lost my family too. Trust me. Just not like you guys, unfortunately. And my heart does go out to you people. Of course, we all here in San Antonio feel for you. I just wish there was more we could do to make the pain go away, the sadness go away. But there isn't, unfortunately. But in time, it will. But I'm telling you, if you look at all that's going on, the storms, the killings, the death, all kinds of things that are going on, the wars, I mean, it's just getting worse. Pretty soon there isn't going to be nobody here in the United States. We're not going to have to worry about freedom of speech because we're all going to be dead. Probably. And if not, it's going to be like living in a third world country, most likely. ISIS is getting bigger and stronger and taking over. You can't even tell who's who and what's what anymore. You walk through the streets or downtown or through your grocery store or through the mall. You don't know. Anybody could be with ISIS. That's the sad part. There could be anybody out there dealing with issues. I mean, blaming this on a mental issue, that might be okay for this instance. But what about the last several hundred shootings that we've had, or mass killings like Vegas, like Lower Manhattan and New York City? I don't get that. There's been 3 mass shootings now, maybe actually 4. Before that, people were driving cars and trucks into crowds of people and killing them. Why? I don't know. Wanted something to do, I suppose. I just don't get that, people. I don't get it at all. But there is one thing I can tell you, that if you do believe in God, or you do read the Bible, or you do attend church in some way, that the Lord speaks very strongly and uses very strong language against murders, killings, shootings, and stuff like that. I can tell you that for sure. Now, I'm not trying to push religion, but it can be comforting to know that maybe at some point. Maybe not now, maybe down the road. If it is a comfort to you, I'm glad. But like I said, you're welcome to call in. You're welcome to talk. You can have the airwaves. It's fine. If you're out there and you want to share, you're welcome to it. If I could remember my own number, we'd be alright too. But anyway, yeah. And call it 210-850-3764. My heart goes out to those people. It really does. It makes it hard for me because I can't imagine shooting a child. Of course, I couldn't imagine sitting there with a child in a hospice program watching him die either, but I've done that, unfortunately. It's not any easier. It's even harder when you shoot it, when you're laying next to your family members that are bleeding, or your baby that's bleeding, or your toddler, and there's nothing you can do. You're helpless. There's nothing anybody can do. I feel sorry for that pastor. His daughter was killed. He wasn't even there. You know how he found out? Via telephone as he was driving back from where he was speaking at this last weekend. His own daughter was shot and killed by this moron that had mental problems, according to Trump. I didn't know Dr. Trump was Dr. Phil and could diagnose that, but okay. He plays on Twitter all the time too. Of course, now he's got the rest of his White House doing it. Great. We got people in the White House that play on Twitter. And it's all well and fine to tweet something pretty peachy. It's all great and fine to post things on Facebook or post things on wherever you go. But really? Is that really a way to spread condolences? To let people know that your heart and your prayers are with them on Twitter? I fail to see the point in that. Of course, maybe this way isn't the way to do it either. But I'm not the commander-in-chief of the continental United States of the country either. But since it doesn't really take anybody in politics to do it, maybe I should run in 4 years. What do you think? Probably could do a better job. Hell, I could probably get a dog to do a better job. In fact, I could. That's another story too. They should have their investigation wrapped up by tomorrow night. I guess the police, and the Texas Rangers, and the FBI, I don't know why they call it the Federal Bureau of Investigations. They're taking whatever they've heard from the president and the people in the White House is, oh, this guy just had a mental problem. That's why he did it. Right. Okay. Sure. Yeah. And I was born during the day, but it wasn't yesterday. I don't fall for that. I don't buy it. I don't like coinkydinks, first of all. And if you stop and think about that, that's got to be a coinkydink. These people, you guys have suffered enough without hearing that. Really. It's more than that. It falls back to gun makers. And there should be stronger laws against people that carry sidearms. And our wonderful people, the military, didn't bother to report to the FBI that this guy had charges of domestic violence for smacking around his wife and his boy. They forgot to report it. How convenient. So when he went to buy a gun, although you don't need to be licensed to buy a firearm in the state of Texas. Isn't that wonderful? Nice, huh? Wonderful. You don't have to be licensed. You just can buy one, though. If you're gonna buy a gun, you're gonna carry it. Hello, you need the license, or at least learn how to shoot it. Of course, using it for what he was using it for since he was mental. I suppose that was okay too. No, it's not. It's sad. It's tragic. It's the time of year. Any time is bad. I just don't understand why. I mean, I realize he didn't like his mother-in-law, but that's not a reason to kill half her congregation either. Heck, 26 of 700 is not a very big population. Anyway, that's even sadder yet. Now, you guys have got to be one strong, united front at this point and stand together. Although it's hard, but you need to encourage one another and be there for one another and listen to one another.